So the drought is really biting. The works are chocker. Coronavirus is refusing to bugger off. What effect is this having on livestock prices around the country? Let's get an expert to comment on it. He's the GM of PGG Rights and Livestock, and we head to Waikato, a cloudless Waikato day, unfortunately, to chat to Peter Moore. And Peter, we won't talk about the drought because we can't do much about the weather. Tell me about the stock prices. What's happening there?
Well, I think what we're seeing is stock prices have probably dropped quite a bit since Christmas time and over the last few months, but they seem to have settled a little bit now, Jamie, at obviously a lot lower levels than what they were on the heights pre-Christmas. And we are just starting to see stock move a little bit as well. I think farmers are getting to the point where they have to move stuff. March is traditionally a very big month for our weaner cattle fairs, our traditional beef weaners, and we're seeing prices there probably $100 to $150 back on what they were 12 months ago. So quite a significant drop on what they got a year ago.
Yeah, okay, let's have a look at that with the rest of the store market, because no one's got any feed apart from the bottom end of the South Island. If you had some, with store prices where they are at the moment, whether that be the weaner cattle or the store lambs, you would quite literally make a killing.
I think there's some very good margins to be made if you've got feed and you've got the ability to farm them and look after them. And we're certainly seeing, some of our bigger operators that have got the ability to feed stock, buying large numbers of particularly lambs, Jamie. Fundamentally the international markets are still sound, although coronavirus is creating some issues with supply chain, but those markets are still sound. So once we get rain and once supply chain starts to move again, I can see us having some very, very strong prices, certainly through the winter months.
Peter Moore, how are we getting some of this livestock through the works? And I'm looking particularly at old ewes.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, I suppose start with cattle. Cattle, very, very tight space for cattle. That's probably where the biggest challenge is. We're seeing good space for lambs, but you're right, old ewes space is tight. And part of that is, a lot of the mutton tends to go to China, so the market hasn't dried up, but the supply chain has slowed down. So, priority given to lambs. Cattle space is very tight right across the country. So, you could be waiting 3 weeks to get cattle into the works. And that clearly also is having an impact on, our dairy farmers who, with the dry weather, are starting to look to cull cows and sell their boners. So it really is impacting. I think I described last time we talked, Jamie, that the livestock market is sort of semi-gridlocked in New Zealand at the moment because there is sort of nowhere to go. A lot of products sitting in storage and cool store. Supply chain slowed down, dry weather, so farmers haven't got the ability to hang on to stock longer. And it is difficult out there, and it's difficult for all of our, a big part of the farming community. And I think we just need to recognise that, there's a massive challenge there for everyone.
Let's just finish on a positive note and put this into perspective. You talked about the highs, and they were real highs in the spring or late spring of 2019. I know lambs come off quite a way, but historically we're still being paid reasonably well.
Absolutely. I mean, lambs are still getting good value for lambs, even at these lower prices compared to what we've had in the past. So we're still, even in our beef, even the beef area, other than perhaps boner cows, the prices are still okay compared to what they've been historically. So still good pricing, and that's why I say international markets basically strong. Once we get some rain and I suppose the world gets used to living with coronavirus, because it sounds like that's what we're going to have to do, many of those supply chains will open up. So, I think this is a deep V at the moment, but I think we'll climb out of it pretty quickly once we get some rain and also once the world gets used to managing coronavirus.
And we're one day closer to both of those events happening.
Yep.
Peter Moore, GM of PGG Rights and Livestock, do appreciate your time here on The Country.
Thanks very much, Jamie. Thanks.